leadership. Our agenda today is an overview of what servant leadership is and a short discussion of some of the pros and cons from Patrick. Alex will then discuss the characteristics of the servant leader. And finally, Shauna will give some examples of successful use of servant leadership in companies. So what is servant leadership? It's an ethical philosophy of managing, where a manager must focus on the needs of his followers or employees and not oneself. It's a philosophy that the leader is really a caretaker and steward, a caretaker of the firm's resources, human, financial, physical, etc. And the leader must use these firm's resources to serve others, i.e. their employees. A servant leader is also a steward of the firm's values. Leaders must ensure the organisation is achieving results while operating within that organisation's values and ethics. Furthermore, servant leaders must use less institutional power. They must shift the authority to get the job done to those that are being led. The key words when discussing servant leadership are listening, empathy, acceptance and respect. But overall, the ultimate goal is that employees perform at their best because they have the spiritual and physical resources to do so. Some examples of servant leadership originally come from the philosophical teachings of Jesus and even in Taoism. It says in the Bible, in order to be first, disciples must wash each other's feet. And many who are first will be last, and many who are last will be first. The modern origination is from Greenleaf, whose essay, The Servant as Leader, was written in 1970. In a quote from his essay, he says, "The servant leadership begins with the natural feeling that one wants to serve. Only after that does one aspire to lead." Servant leadership is also taught in many courses and colleges in the United States. This example from Illinois Wesleyan University shows a servant leadership model. So before we talk about more in detail about the characteristics of a servant leader, we thought of a short critique. For example, is there a conflict with shareholder value? i.e., should a leader really serve the organisation's employees or should it serve its owners? Obviously, considering employee needs is good, but maybe acting as a servant is extreme, because would there then be a loss of focus on setting strategic direction? For example, if leaders only focus on employee needs, who's responsible for company strategy? Furthermore, is there a conflict with the traits and skills approach we covered to leadership models? Issues like self-confidence, determination to achieve goals, providing vision, are those traits in conflict with the servant leadership approach? And now we'll talk with Alex about the characteristics of a servant leader.